Honorable Minister and the guests are just joining us. I would like to ask our participants to just give him stand up and welcome our good guests who have taken time off their very busy schedules to come and give us a lot of insight. Welcome, Minister. Welcome, guests. I will now hand over the session to Dr. Ivan.
Good morning. So before I give my notes, I would first ask to our partners to the event to come and present themselves.
It's a pleasure being here. I am here. My name is Dörte Fouquet as Director of EREF, which is the European Renewable Energies Federation, and we worked together in this Renewable Energy for Growth project between Europe and Africa. And in our association, we represent industry, we represent power producers from all renewable sources, mostly small and medium size. So I think we would fit well in this cooperation, and I'm looking forward to our dialogue and matchmaking.
Good morning, everybody, honorable ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alexander Huppertz. I'm the project manager for private sector cooperation at the Africa EU Renewable Energy Cooperation Program. And I just wanted to also welcome you all on behalf of the international partners, so the RECP, the Shell Foundation and the BFZ program supporting EPD. We are very glad for the opportunity to have this conference. If you have any questions about what we do at the RECP, I would very much invite you to visit our stand at the exhibition. And without much further ado, I wish you all a very constructive and successful conference, and will hand over to my dear friend, Dr. Ivan. Thank you.
Honorable Minister of Infrastructure and our guest of honor, Honorable Chief Executive Officer of Rwanda Development Board, First Chancellor of Rwandan Embassy in China, Chief Executive Officer of Private Sector Federation, RACP representative, ERF representative, representative of our partners as an association, the Shell Foundation and BFZ, member of EPD present today, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's my big pleasure to welcome you all to this important event prepared by Energy Private Developers for its first time. EPD is a professional association under Private Sector Federation, and we are into the Chamber of Industry. It has been created in 2013 and got its official accreditation in October 2014. The association started with 25 companies, and now we count 101 companies operating in energy sector here in Rwanda. EPD has a vision to facilitate access to modern energy by all homes in Rwanda, with a mission to contribute to universal energy access in an environment where private sector can innovate, grow, and thrive. For this conference, we are expecting more investment in renewable energy sector in Rwanda, more business cases, and joint ventures partnerships. I cannot end my speech without thanking the government of Rwanda for effort to enabling an conducive business environment for private sector. Honorable Minister, we thank you for your valuable contribution to EPD by recognizing us as a key partner in energy sector. Thank you all who decided to participate. It's really a big contribution to economic growth of our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivan. Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, CEO RDB, delegates from respective countries, allow me to say protocol observed. I will start by recognizing a few abundant things we have in Africa, but particularly in Rwanda. One, we have abundant labor. Two, we have abundant sunshine, and to some extent, the waste product. Those three, the last one I have mentioned, sunshine, and waste are vital ingredients of renewable energy. So if you tap them, then you have pressed the right button. Since this meeting is about the renewable energy and its importance to the industries, and particularly the economic growth, those that have yet to invest, please, you're welcome. Think about the investing in renewable energy sectors. The conference is essential and a milestone in achieving particularly two strategic themes. One, promoting inward investment in renewable energy. Second, identifying challenges and agree on the roadmap to address those two. Currently, scarce investment in financing in Africa still chases sustainable generation business model at the expense of sustainable ones. Furthermore, the cost of equity always exceeds the cost of debt. Contrast this with other parts of the world where we see massive amount of financing flow into the renewable energy space, notably China. I'm told we have delegates from China, and in their 2010 study done, we discovered that China had invested around 102.9 billion, which is likely to reduce by 70% in 2025. So this is something which we think we have to look at. I will not bore you much, and allow me to say and thank the members that have organized this event, thank the government that has greatly done its part in making the investment environment, especially in this sector, conducive. And I wish those that are going to have B2B's matchmaking a good day of discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ivan Twagira Shema, Chairman of Energy Developers Rwanda. Honorable Minister in charge of Infrastructure, CEO of Private Sector Federation, and of course all the partners of this conference, good morning. Last year, in 2016, the Rwanda Development Board signed a grant agreement with GIZ to implement the Africa-EU Renewable Energy Cooperation Program. The main objective of this agreement was to strengthen the promotion of renewable energy opportunities within Rwanda and linking them with international private sector. It's very important as a key milestone of that agreement that today we are hosting and supporting this conference, which is named the Renewable Energy Sustainable Growth Matchmaking Conference and Exhibition. We find this conference a crucial deliverable of this agreement that we signed that continues to link opportunities in renewable energy in Rwanda with you, the private sector, from inside Rwanda, but also outside Rwanda, so that what we hope for at the end of this is to have opportunities meet people that are interested in them, so that hopefully we can have deals begin to emerge from a conference like this. So we're very pleased as the Rwanda Development Board to see this conference being delivered as part of that partnership. As was mentioned by one of the speakers before, Rwanda expects to achieve universal access of electricity by 2024. That's a very clear target. It's a very ambitious target, but it's a target that the government has given itself and has even been able to disaggregate within that target where we expect on-grid, off-grid, renewable contribution. And so to achieve that target, we think that your presence here and your participation and your interest is very crucial to make us begin to think about how we can actually achieve that universal access target. But it's not just how we are organized to deal with you. Let me also say that it's truly easy to do business in Rwanda. Rwanda is today ranked the second easiest place to do business in Africa. And so if you're looking for a place to do business in Africa, Rwanda is one of the best places that you'll find on the African continent. If you want to register business, it takes only 6 hours, and it's all done online. Let me end by saying that Rwanda has a program called Made in Rwanda, in which we are giving support to products made in Rwanda. And so beyond production of power for increasing access, also please think about producing some of the equipment, solar powers, solar panels, cables, and all the other equipment that goes with the power sector. If you do that, we have incentives that support that. One such incentive is that the government allows up to 15% price advantage if you are procuring within government if the product is made in Rwanda and meets the 35% rules of origin requirement for that. But in addition to that, we also have tax incentives, up to 7-year tax holidays and up to 50% reduction of corporate income tax, among many other incentives that we give specifically for the energy sector. So we think that with that, you should take us seriously, just like we take you seriously. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ivan, and thanks, Claire. I also want to affirm that what Claire said, you should take us serious, but we also take you very serious. So I think that partnership spirit is the one that is behind the organization of this conference, and our expectation is that local companies are going to have strong partners from across the globe, and just to assure you that government is ready to facilitate that cooperation. So, Honorable CEO, Rwanda Development Board, Chairman of the Rwandan group, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I wish to start by commending the energy private developers for organizing this important conference, which comes at an opportune time. Many of the countries are struggling to meet fast-growing energy demand with low access rates. At the same time, the technology cost of renewable energy has been experiencing remarkably steady falls over the past decade. In our experience here in Rwanda, through rural electrification program, we realize that this potential is there, that we need to organize innovative economic models to electrify our remote areas other than relying on the conventional way of grid extension, which is a bit expensive. The government of Rwanda, through the Ministry of Infrastructure, has been very active in steering and mobilizing the private sector participation in renewable energies. And we will certainly continue together with the RDB and give you our best we can to support you to facilitate and enable you also support us to achieve this target. We have very good working relationship with energy private developers, and we just want to commit that we will even scale up our support and continuous engagement with you to enable you meet your objectives. As I conclude, I urge you to use the opportunity of this conference to discuss impactful ideas and forge strong partnerships that will enable all of us to reach the objectives that are behind the organization of this conference. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on this note, I wish to declare this conference officially open and wish you fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
welcome to the Renewable Energy Conference. It's our pleasure, very great pleasure, to have you really come all the way to Rwanda, and I promise you won't regret it. Today, I want to take you quickly through the aspects of doing business in Rwanda.
Part of that was hydro. After 2010, that's when the energy sector began the reform process from a single buyer model to attract independent power producers to take part in the generation from all renewable sources that we have in the country, hydro, solar.
And category 1, which is the category 1, the strategy that Winnie mentioned, the rural electrification strategy, states that the government will provide support for them to get a basic electricity system.
So RF is a backbone for the producer's voice of renewables all over the European Union. And it was created, founded end of the 90s, 1999, when we had the first run-up to the first renewable electricity directive in the Union, which came in 2001.
This is a facilitator for this is how deployment of solar energy applications. And then ISA is not a bank, kindly remember, but we are trying to mobilize 1,000 billions. That's the target. And 1,000 gigawatts. That's what the total target by 2030.
To governments and private companies, we design and implement programs on energy efficiency, clean energy innovation, cost reduction, and we also provide assurance and certification, for example, through carbon footprinting and labeling. So T wants to catalyze action on innovation and scale up innovative technologies and business models that can accelerate access to affordable clean energy to countries in sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia.
The subject of today's panel is innovative, sustainable energy systems beyond the grid.
Basically what we are doing is we offer solar home systems to people living in peri-urban areas. Our approach is pay as you go, very flexible in how we manage the payments with our customers.
So we want to show the possibility of doing these small projects.
So the idea is basically to create access, to demonstrate to the local communities that solar is affordable, it's functional, and at the kiosk level we are able to give hands-on support to our customers.
We focus on solar home system. We design and produce this solar home system and the appliances that customers and different people need on daily basis.
I'm currently supplying over 2,000 households with pay-as-you-go utility electricity access. And we are now embarking on a project to test whether we can support more proactively businesses and agricultural producers in these areas.
But we've got a vision to give a rural customer an on-grid experience with off-grid.
I think we haven't been able to, as an industry, to actually explain clearly the problem so that a solution could be found.
At least we can collect some money from our customers. We have 121 connections. They pay with smart meters, and we have to pay with prepaid meters. It means they use electricity which you have already paid.
And things like that. So there is, on the distribution side, there is understanding the product. But there's also an issue, I think a big issue on the side of the customers again, on perception. Does the solar home system work? A lot of customers ask those questions.
So throughout this presentation, I'm going to be showing you what Centennial is doing to counter those two problems. As you look at the solar spectrum of different things that are offered, most people are commonly aware of the pay-as-you-go systems or the national utility grid scale projects. But what about the middle? What about the commercial and the industrial businesses? This is where Centennial is focused on projects that range from 10 kilowatts to 5,000 kilowatts. So who are we? Centennial is an energy services company offering solar power and battery solutions across the commercial and industrial sector. At no upfront cost, we'll finance, design, install, and maintain a solar system and sell the electricity that's produced at a rate that's cheaper than the utility. Our mission as Centennial is to facilitate growth of businesses through offering affordability at no upfront investment and saving money each month for our customers. 2, reliability through our bespoke battery storage systems. And 3, environmentally sustainable. Fun fact, for every 1 megawatt installed, we mitigate 1,000 tons of carbon emissions a year. So to put that tangibly, that's like removing 300 cars.
Companies don't really have any experience in operations and maintenance of solar systems, so it's not something they necessarily want to do. So the way we address these 3 problems is that we try to provide the financing and the solar as a service solution in the middle of that financing gap.
So we also help farmers in terms of getting financing from both public sector and private sector banks.
We have a mission to accelerate access to renewable energy to rural areas by actually promoting the private sector involved in providing those services.
I will then call to the stage Mr. Chi to come and give his small notes.
我们光伏扶贫和用于农业的这些方面的经验和技术，来和非洲一起来开展一些项目。
So in China, we have used solar energy in alleviate poverty and farming industry. So we would like to share this experience in Africa in the future.
Thank you.
Meaning this conference also added another partnership of EPD on the Asian continent, and it's something positive.
On behalf of the Shell Foundation, we would just say we're proud to support EPD, and we're very hopeful for what you guys can bring to Rwanda in the coming years. So thank you very much.
And we assure you, from the International Solar Alliance, it will not be the Indian Solar Alliance, but it's the International Solar Alliance. I assure you, all the things that we do for particularly the countries between the Capricorn and the Cancer, also other partner countries.
I think it's one of the fullest days in renewables I've ever lived through. And I must say, it feels good being in Kigali. Worthwhile probably doing business here. And again, I'm amazed by the freshness of the people and the open mind. And I thank you so much for having us.
They have one company called Polysolar, so they promote solar. So as you just heard, he just gave a donation to the rural areas in Rwanda, 100 households for the solar kit. So I think we really should give him another round of applause for that. People, and so that next year, as Mr. Shi pledged, they are going to be co-chairing this event. So this is also another thing we can appreciate from this Chinese group.
My name is Muhinda Emmanuel. I'm a volunteer because I love my country and I love this industry. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. So, now I think you can keep enjoying the drinks.
On behalf of the European Small Hydropower Chapter and of RACP program, we would like to welcome you to this morning session, special hydropower, small hydropower workshop on opportunities for national and international project financing.
Also on my behalf, good morning everybody and welcome to the second day of the Sustainable Energy for Growth Conference. I just wanted to say a few words on the RECP. For those that have not been in touch with us, I see a lot of familiar faces by now in the audience, which I appreciate a lot. Also the confidence in the activities that we conduct. Very good to see so many familiar faces by now that have also been participating in previous activities. First of all, I would like to say a big thank you to both our partners at EREF, but also here in Kigali. Furthermore, I think it's important to also appreciate that all of this is only possible because of the contributions by our donors. So for the RECP, I would also very much like to thank our donors, the European Commission, the German government, the Dutch government, the Austrians and the Finnish government for contributing to this program and making these activities all possible. For those of you that have not yet had any touch with the Renewable Energy Cooperation Program, what we are doing is we are trying to support market development for renewable energy in Africa through a variety of activities that are very much geared towards private sector activities. So one of the core things we do is provide a platform for entrepreneurs, financiers, regulators, and basically all of the stakeholders that are active in the sector to come together and meet also across continental boundaries. So one of the main things is what happens this afternoon in terms of matchmaking, giving people an opportunity to meet and engage in a structured and pre-arranged fashion so that you don't have to bounce into interesting people at the coffee break, but you can identify the right people in advance and then have a structured meeting with them during the matchmaking session. Maybe a few numbers on this. Over the last 2 years, we have now conducted over 10 of these matchmakings, and we have over 3,300 meetings that were organized in these sessions. And based on the evaluations we do, we currently estimate that about 30% of these meetings result in actual follow-ups and joint ventures. And we have a couple of good examples here in the room already from past matchmakings that are now engaged in joint ventures. So I'm very proud to be part of that program. Without much further ado, I know everybody is here not to listen to me, but to our distinguished speakers today that will introduce some of the various finance support instruments that have been established, again, by a variety of donors. And without much further ado, I would now hand back over to Fiona, our host for today, who will get us through the day and will provide all of the moderation that we need.
We'll hear a series of inputs about various financing options. We'll have a panel discussion, as Dirk outlined, focusing largely on hydropower.
The Finance Catalyst team is an advisory service that helps project developers to raise financing for their projects. We are a team of 10 senior experts in the field. All have been in the investing industry for quite some time.
What we do is we provide seed funding to renewable energy projects in the region, including Rwanda, and we do that through grant funding. In total, we've allocated about 55 million euros.
The only time we deviate from that constraint is with wind, where we can go up to 50 megawatts, and geothermal, where we can go with the authority from the board, we can also go to 50 megawatts. As I said, smaller projects are the key to solution, to the solution of electrifying Africa, because we find that a lot of local developers are only capable to do small projects if they're doing a project for the first time.
BRD in energy, we have a strategic plan of 5 years with the following objectives. They are mainly based on the national objectives, which are to increase the national capacity to meet demand of 512 megawatts by 2024. This is 100% electrification of households.
Maramutse, Nitwa Ronwais, Nedi Umuyokoro, Umuyubozi Mukuru Wareg. but I will go to English. So REG is a holding company. We have 2 subsidiaries. One is called EDCL, the other is called EUCL. The roles of EDCL is the development of the country. So first of all, we are dealing with the generation, what we need for the future in the generation part. We are dealing with the transmission and distribution, all the net. Of course, the access for all the citizens of Rwanda. Rwanda is different from European countries, or let's say many countries that some of you are coming from. The demand is almost fixed during the year. There is no influence of summer or winter. So you can see the curve. The installed capacity now in Rwanda is 208.